Healthy, low-calorie, cheesy chicken pizza. This is one of the easiest pizza recipes and it tastes incredible. First, slice your chicken into very small cubes, then season with garlic powder, oregano, paprika, onion powder, salt and pepper, and olive oil. Mix well, then get a pan on medium heat and cook the chicken for 5 minutes till golden brown. For the base, we're using white Lebanese flatbread. Add a layer of tomato paste, light mozzarella, a generous amount of chicken, cherry tomatoes, red onion, extra cheese and seasoning. Bake in the oven for just 8 minutes. Optional, you can add spicy mayo or sriracha. Garnish with fresh basil and that's it. Enjoy.
Every time I make this dish, I think about my mom. It was the first dish she taught me how to make, and it's really funny because it has nothing to do with our culture. You would think that as a Lebanese mom, she would teach me a dish from Lebanon as my first one, but instead, I was taught this amazing Italian dish. She couldn't have taught me a better recipe. You need patience and skill to make this because this takes up a big chunk of your day. Because of this recipe, I learned how to chop and dice onions. I learned how delicate extra virgin olive oil is, and adding butter enhances the flavor of the whole dish. Even adding spices to your onions as they're being sauteed is a very important step. It elevates the flavors of the spices. They become so immersed with the onions and the oil and the butter. Sauteing the meat without adding the spices first is simply not the same. Even this part of allowing the meat mixture and the marinara sauce to fuse together and combine. Giving it that time, allowing it to thicken is so important. Rushing that step won't give you the same overall effect at the end of the dish. Also, fresh mushrooms and canned mushrooms are totally different. As a matter of fact, this is probably the first dish that taught me about herbs. I thought that adding dried basil should be enough, but I quickly learned that fresh basil is so potent that leaving it out will not give you the same result. I made this dish over and over every time thinking, oh yeah, now I perfected it. But every time I made it, I learned something new. I learned about new spices, a new technique. Even creating the layers was a skill. If I rushed through this part, then the final result felt like it had an element missing. Patience was an all-around skill that I needed to learn. Patience with myself because I gave myself such a hard time if a dish didn't come out the way I wanted it to. And patience with the dish, giving it enough time to do what it needs to do to combine the flavors. Adding cheese, what kind of cheese and how much cheese to put is a whole other thing that I had to learn. It was kind of like being in culinary school, but without the professionals there to teach you. There were plenty of times where I couldn't rely on my mom to tell me what to do. I had to figure things out on my own. I mean, there are plenty of cookbooks out there with amazing recipes, but we all know that reading about something and actually doing it are two completely different things. It's the doing part that hones in on our skills. So for me, making this one Italian dish actually taught me how to make so many others from different cultures, even from my own. Every recipe I make has a direct correlation to this first one that my mom taught me, and I will forever be grateful for that. Now let me feed you.
This is my 15-minute arrabbiata pasta. Grab yourself a pan with some olive oil and we're going to add some butter. We're going to infuse that butter with chili flakes for about 1.5 to 2 minutes on a slow heat. Then you're going to add garlic and onion and we're going to sweat that off until it's gone soft, again about 2 minutes. Then you're going to add tinned tomatoes. I just had plum tomatoes and we're going to mash them up. And you're going to simmer them for about 6 to 8 minutes. Then we're going to add some salt and sugar. We'll give that a mix and we're going to add some chopped basil. Then you're going to add your cooked pasta and we're going to give that a turn and we're going to give that a mix. Get it coated in that lovely sauce and we're going to plate it with a ladle and tongs to make it look fancy. Add a little bit more sauce, finish with some basil, and there you have it. Give it a go. When you can't be arsed cooking, this is your quick, simple, go-to recipe. See you soon.